What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's out there staying high speed and motivated, accomplishing their goals, whatever they may be. Got the Ranger flag up today, so that means we're going to be talking about Ranger School. So in this video, I'm hoping to be able to talk to you guys a little bit on whether or not I believe that Ranger School is a leadership course. I get asked all the time on whether or not I think that Ranger School is a leadership course, and I just want to give you guys a little bit of my 2 cents on what I think as somebody who's gone through the course and has a whole lot of buddies who've gone through the course as well. I want to be able to give this information to you guys because I assume if you've clicked on this video, you're either looking at going to Ranger School or you're just doing a little research because you're interested. And I think it's great that you're here watching this because if you are researching Ranger School, it means you're doing everything within your power to be as prepared as you possibly can. And I think that's definitely a sustain for you. Gritty Soldier is probably one of the best channels, if not the best channel for Ranger School information, and I try to maintain a high standard for you guys and be able to push as much information about Ranger School to you as possible. Viable information, truthful information about Ranger School so that you are most prepared to go there and crush it. Because when you do find yourself at Ranger School, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for failure, so to arm you with additional tools for your tool bag, there's really nothing wrong with that. Now, it's without a doubt that the United States Army Ranger School is considered to be one of the most prestigious leadership courses there is in the military, period. But it's not really a leadership course in the traditional sense. While you're at Ranger School, you will definitely be tested on your leadership skills, but these are skills that you're already supposed to have acquired based on your prior experience in the Army so far. I can tell you that during your blocks of instruction, at no time will you ever receive instruction from ARTB 6-22, which is the Doctrine for Army Leadership. Long story short, as far as my own opinion goes, I 100% believe that Ranger School is one of the best leadership schools that you will find in the military. I definitely believe that. But it's not because I was taught how to be a good leader there. It's more about the experiences that I went through that developed my leadership schools and allowed me to learn how to be a good leader in even the harshest environments. And I'm going to give you some examples of what I mean by that, some of the experiences that I went through personally while I was at Ranger School. But before I do that, I want to let you guys know that we're doing another giveaway for a Ranger Pack. The Ranger Pack is a specially designed and carefully organized packing list full of gear that you will need for Ranger School to help you pass the initial layout and be successful throughout the entire course. It contains 90% of the required packing list items that Ranger School calls for. It saves you over $300 of purchases and saves you tons of time. All your stuff is already nice, neatly packed and delivered to you instead of you having to go out and acquire all your equipment at all these different stores. The creators of Ranger Pack make sure to stay updated with Ranger School guidelines and requirements, and they're also constantly reaching out to recent Ranger School graduates to gather intelligence from them so that they can continuously refine the product and make it the best available packing list for the Ranger School student. Guys, honestly, I can't recommend Ranger Pack enough. I used one when I went through it. It was the best thing I could have ever done. I only had a week's notice when I went to Ranger School, and so I didn't have any time to pick up any equipment, so it saved me tons of time. It ended up saving me tons of money, and it was awesome because everything did come nice, neatly packed and organized already in separate kits, and it really just made my life a whole lot easier, especially when it came to layout and especially for having the gear that I needed throughout the entire course. So like I said, this channel is again doing a complete Ranger Pack giveaway. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and comment that you want the pack in this video. And an important thing to remember here, guys, because there has been attempted scams in the past with giveaways that we've done on this channel, I will post the winner of the competition in the community section of this channel, and that's why it's so important to subscribe so you don't miss that. If you get a reply to your comment that says, "Oh, congratulations, you won," that's a scam. It's not me. Even though it looks like it's me, it's not me. Again, the official winner will be announced in the community section of this channel. Very important. All right, so don't forget to do that. Let's move on. So why do I think that Army Ranger School is definitely a leadership course and will absolutely make you a better leader on the back end? I've got 4 big reasons on why I believe this to be true. The first one is that it teaches you and requires from you to be extremely prepared. And if you've been in the military for even just a little while, you have absolutely heard that good leaders are always prepared. And in Ranger School, you're going to have to be extremely prepared on a daily basis for a plethora of different things. Even before you show up to Ranger School, you have to do tons of things to make sure you're prepared to be successful. You've got to dial down your fitness. You got to get your packing list, right? You have to make sure your family affairs are taken care of, your bills, all those things that go into being prepared to be away for at least 2 months, probably longer. That's a high level of preparedness that one needs to achieve in order to be successful at Ranger School. Now, even after you've done all those things and properly prepared yourself to be successful at Ranger School, and let's say you do get through Rap Week, you'll be doing a whole plethora of additional activities that will demand good planning and preparation skills that you would expect from a good leader. You're going to be preparing for briefings, you'll be giving op orders, you'll be doing your terrain models, rehearsals, PCCs and PCIs. You're going to be doing all those things constantly throughout the entire course. And your ability to prepare and plan successfully will depend on whether or not you get your go when it is your time to get looked at for leadership. So I think that you should show up to Ranger School with decent foundational knowledge of what Army planning consists of, especially at the tactical level, but it's not something that's going to make or break you before you show up. You'll definitely be able to hone those skills before you get looked at for your go, which again, I think only adds to the argument of Ranger School being a leadership course. Number 2 is small unit tactics, and obviously Ranger School is all about small unit tactics. I like to tell people that just don't really know this, right? They either haven't been to the course, haven't really done enough research, don't have any buddies that have been to the course, or otherwise they're just ignorant to this. Graduating Ranger School doesn't make you some sort of tactical expert, right? It doesn't put you in operator status or anything like that, but you definitely will get your fair share and you'll have solid knowledge of small unit tactics. And that's because pretty much the entire time that you're at Ranger School after Rap Week, you're conducting patrols, raids, ambushes, and you're doing it at a squad or platoon level. And I believe nowadays it's only at the platoon level. You're spending a lot of time in the woods, maneuvering onto objectives, destroying the enemy, and you're doing it maneuvering your team when you're in a leadership role to be successful on that objective. When it's time to get your go and you're getting looked at for your leadership role, you better know what you need to do in order to maneuver your elements onto the objective and destroy the enemy. You need to know by the book how it needs to be done, and there's really no room for error. I'll tell you from experience as somebody who recycled Ranger School during Derby phase for patrols, because I didn't take them seriously enough, and that's just me being honest. They take everything extremely serious, and they are by the book when it comes to tactics. When I say the book, I'm talking about the Ranger Handbook. So if you are going to Ranger School, it definitely wouldn't hurt to crack that book open, review the TTPs that are outlined within that book, because that's what they're going to be testing you on in your leadership role when you're conducting your small unit tactics. Number 3 is staying calm under pressure and being able to achieve success under a extremely high level of stress. It's been said before that Ranger School is less of a leadership school and more of a laboratory of mental and physical stress for leaders. And I think those two things kind of go hand in hand, right? They may not necessarily teach you how you need to be during those times of extreme stress, but they're definitely going to teach you what you need to do in order to go about accomplishing your missions. And your missions are no fail, right? So it'll be up to you to drive on, suck it up, and achieve mission success. You'll be spending days and nights back to back in the field under a caloric deficit with tons of weight on your back, with minimal breaks. Those are just some of the physical stressor aspects that I can think of off the top of my head that are going to accumulate and be wrapped up with a nice little bow of, are you going to get your go or not during your leadership position? And what the risk is there, how I'm going to translate this is, however long you've been in Ranger School up to that point on whether you get your go or no go determines on whether you get to continue on with the school or pass the school if you're in Florida, right? Or you get to do that phase all over again and go through all that suffering all over again. Or if you've already done that, or if you did something bad enough to get you a really bad no-go, then you get to go back to your unit and you have wasted all that time at Ranger School to just leave without a tab. If the tab means anything to you, which I assume it does, if you're somebody at Ranger School, you wouldn't be there in the first place unless you really wanted that tab and you wanted to have that status of knowing that you can get through that. There is a high level of stress that's attributed to that determination on whether or not you were good enough. But your ability to work through that stress and do what needs to be done and find success on the back end is a true test of your leadership. And it's not only just about you on the personal level, but it's also about how you're going to control and motivate your guys when they're feeling the same way as you. And I can tell you right now, it's extremely difficult to motivate people that are hungry, tired, beat down, and are just not having a good day. To get them to do something that they don't want to do when they're already feeling that way is just like herding cats into the washing machine. Being able to manage that aspect of the course, you'll learn a lot about yourself and your leadership skills, and it's going to contribute to your leadership toolkit in the future. And the last one I want to touch on is being a team player. I'm a firm believer that you can't be a good leader unless you know what it takes to be a good follower, unless you know what it takes to be a good team player. Good leaders need to know what it feels like to be a subordinate under a command. And if you're going to be that person that's in that command and have those subordinates, how are you going to know how they feel when you're giving them orders? Without experience or the knowledge of what it's like to be a subordinate, leaders won't really understand or know the best way about going about providing proper motivation and providing purpose, which is one of the most important things, to those subordinates so that they feel compelled to follow those orders. And I don't mean that in a way that subordinates should just be like tricked into following orders. What I mean by that is that the whole thing, everything about accomplishing the mission should be as one team, right? There's always different roles of the team, and when you're in a leadership position, you're essentially the team captain, right? But there's still plenty of other roles to be had, and the team cannot move forward effectively unless everybody's working together and everybody understands the goal. Everybody has the proper amount of motivation and they all understand the purpose. They understand what they need to do and why they need to do it. And if you don't have that understanding within you, especially as a leader, you're going to have a tough time getting through Ranger School. Not only when it comes time to motivate your team and actually get them to do something that needs to get done when they're feeling like shit, but those problems will definitely come out when it comes to peer evals. If you're not being a good team player, it's going to get recognized and noticed at Ranger School, and even if you get through your patrols miraculously, it's going to come out during peer evals. It's going to come out that you weren't a team player for whatever reason. Maybe you fell asleep on security all the time. Maybe your way of giving orders was too abrupt, too misunderstanding. Maybe you just didn't give good orders in the first place and you just didn't know what you were doing. But your team was not on your side for one reason or the other. And the only way to fix that is if you yourself are a good team player. And good leaders know how to be good team players. A common thing that's said, and it's absolutely true, is that you don't earn your tab by yourself at Ranger School. You earn it as a team. Definitely something to take to the bank. Definitely something to remember. So that's my take on whether or not Ranger School is a leadership school. It may not be the school where you go learn everything there is to know about Army leadership according to 6-22 and Army doctrine, but it's definitely going to test the leadership skills that you already have acquired throughout your career. And those leadership skills that you have already acquired throughout your career are definitely going to expand as you make your way through the course. I 100% attribute a lot of my leadership lessons and a lot of the skills I have today as a leader back to what I learned through my experience at Ranger School. That's not the only thing, but it was definitely a huge and gaining experience for me in my development as a leader. And I know it just sounds like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now, guys, but I'm really just trying to be honest with you and be straight, and this is real. I'm not being paid by the Army to tell you guys this or anything. I'm just being honest with you. I definitely believe Ranger School has contributed to my success as a leader so far. Not that I have everything figured out. I still have a lot more to figure out. If you're looking to expand your leadership skills and be the best leader you possibly can be, then I highly advise you go test yourself at Ranger School. It's only going to do good for you, I promise you that. If you're somebody who's watching this, you've been to Ranger School, and you have some opinions of your own in regard to this subject, please don't hesitate to drop that in the comments. The more information we have on videos like this, the better, okay? I like to treat these videos as conversation starters and make it available for people who are looking for this sort of information to be able to find it and think about it. Don't forget about the Ranger Pack giveaway. Again, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and comment on this video that you want the pack. And remember, if you do get any sort of notification in the comments that you've won, that is not me. Besides that, guys, stay motivated, keep on keeping on. I've got nothing else for you, and I will see you on the next one.